Okay. Hi, everybody. Let's get these slides up here. Um, Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Nutshell Forms webinar today. My name is Jewel July, and I'm on the marketing team. Unfortunately, Will is not able to be with us today. He's feeling under the weather, but James Lowerman here is with us too, and he's our customer support specialist. So we're going to be sharing about Nutshell Forms with you. Um, let's see. I would ask if can anyone can everyone hear me okay? If you could type in the chat or something that just want to make sure that everything's working here. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. And as we go along here, um, definitely feel free to type any questions you have in the chat. We might answer it as we go through the presentation, but we will get to those questions at the end. And also, as a reminder, everyone gets a recording of this webinar in your email inbox after this is over. So that's something that might be helpful for you to look back at as well. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started here. So today we're talking about Nutshell Forms, which is one of the features that um, everyone at every Nutshell customer gets to use here at Nutshell. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this presentation here. So today's agenda is we're going to go over what's a Nutshell form, and then we're going to cover connected forms, what you can do with Nutshell forms. We'll have a recorded video walkthrough of how to use Nutshell forms and set them up and create your own. And then we'll also talk about who can use Nutshell forms and what we've got coming up and updates that we have planned for the future. And then again, yes, feel free absolutely to put any questions you have in the chat, and James and I will get to those at the end. Okay. Awesome. So, what is a Nutshell form? These are built in forms inside of Nutshell that allow you to collect data from website visitors and then sync it seamlessly with your Nutshell data, which is incredibly helpful if you want to put a contact form, a sign up form, content downloads, any kind of form you can think of. Nutshell Forms allows you to create one and then embed it on your site. When you're logged into Nutshell, you'll find Nutshell Forms under the Marketing tab, and then you click on Nutshell Forms and Create Form. And the process from there is pretty simple. We'll have that recorded that we'll look at here in a minute. And there are no limits to how many times your forms can be filled out. So you can put them on your website and then have them there for people to fill out indefinitely. And they're also easily shareable. You can embed them on your website with a snippet of code that we put out for you, and also share a link to that form. So they're very easy to share, easy for people to fill out, and then the information syncs perfectly in Nutshell. So you can reference that later on with your contacts. All right, so then we've also got connected forms, and we understand that our customers have form builders that they're using already, so we're not going to force you to use Nutshell Forms, and that's what connected forms is all about. It gives you the option to sync that form data directly in Nutshell too. But we are pretty proud of Nutshell Forms, and we've got updates that are coming out as well. So we think it's a pretty good product. And so if you want to use that as well, we make it pretty easy for you to figure out how to do that in Nutshell. Um, and you should also be aware that if you change a connected form, which is syncing one of these form builders with Nutshell, you do have to update your form mapping in Nutshell to make sure that those fields map. I won't go into that right now, but there's a link to a support article that you can access later as well. And of course, if you have questions with that process, our support team can help you too. Okay, so what can you do with Nutshell Forms? First, you start out by creating the fields that you want to include in your form. That can be drop-down fields where people have only a couple of options that they can choose, or it can be an open text field so they can type in anything. So you get to design those forms exactly how you want. The color, we've got, you know, um, whether you want it left centered or centered on the left, on the right, stuff like that. So you can change the way your forms look. And you can also create a thank you page that will automatically, your form submissions will automatically lead the person to that thank you page, or set up a success message. And the thank you pages are helpful for tracking form submissions with Google Analytics, but you can choose to do either one of those things. And then Nutshell will automatically create people, companies, and leads from those form submissions. And you can auto apply tags to those people and set that up in Nutshell to um, automatically have tags associated with those people when they fill out a form, or add them to an audience. So if they fill out a webinar sign up form, for example, you can automatically add them to an email marketing audience that will they'll go into that and receive those messages, so you can continue staying in touch with them in the future. You can also set up notifications with these forms, so you can get notifications in Nutshell or to your email when people fill out these forms, so that you can get in touch with them right away, or just to stay on top of those submissions. And with duplicate detection, Nutshell Forms helps you merge any duplicate entries. So if the same person fills out the same form, um, Nutshell decides whether it's a duplicate based on email or their name, and will help you prevent duplicate entries when people submit their information. And then again, they're easy to share and embed with the code, um, or with the sharing link that we've got for you.
One minor addition to what Jewel just
Yeah.
mentioned, with the thank you message, there's an alternative option there that lets you redirect customers to a specific website instead of a thank you message. So both of those options exist.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and watch this walkthrough video that James recorded for us earlier. I think it's going to start automatically when I click this, so we will share this here.
Hi, everybody. This is James with the Nutshell support team, and today I'm going to show you how to make a simple contact us form using Nutshell Forms. So let's head to the marketing section of your account, click on Nutshell Forms, and create new form here at the top right. For this video, we're going to use the contact us template, but you can always start from scratch if you'd like. So your forms are going to be built out of two types of blocks. There are input blocks and content blocks. Let's click Edit Form to get started. Input blocks are the things that require somebody to enter information in a field, email address, name, company name, whereas the content blocks are more cosmetic. These are the images and the headers, things like that used to make your form nice. You can see the email address field is already here. So let's click into that field. Over here on the right is the field mapping, and that's going to determine where your information goes in Nutshell. So this is already set to person email address. Let's leave that how it is, and we'll make that a required field. So let's click out of email address, click to add a block, and now we're going to add a block for name. We can see here it's already mapped to person name. Let's make that required as well. And then add another block for company name, and we'll confirm that's already mapped to company name. Looking good. We'll make that required too. And let's drag email address to the bottom. You can just drag and drop these blocks however you like. And we'll give it a name. Up here in this header, let's call it contact form demo. And because I like symmetry, let's center that text. Now let's click into a field and touch on some of the design options. Here on the right, you'll see color, input color, and font size. This is where you can customize your form. So let's make the text a little bigger here. Font size is 20. I think the colors can remain the same. All right, so let's save our changes. Now let's talk about after submission actions. These are the things that you want to occur automatically in Nutshell when a form is submitted. You can configure a success message. Thank you for your submission. We can't wait to talk to you. Or redirect your customer to a different page on your site. You can create a person in Nutshell. add a tag to that person, add them to a marketing audience, or both. Same thing with company. You have the option to add a tag to the new company that gets created. This option is important. Do you want Nutshell to update existing company records based on name, or do you want to create a new company regardless? That one's really up to you. It depends on your organization's needs. Let's talk about notifications. If you head over here to your settings and then notifications, down at the bottom, you can set up notifications via push, email, or in-app to be notified every time a form is submitted. It's a really great way to stay on top of what your customers are doing. Let's head back to the form now and talk about how you can share this form with your customers. Let's click Embed Form. Here's the code block that you can embed on your website to display it there. Nutshell support can't do this part for you, but we can guide you through it. If you need a hand, just get in touch with us. And then here at the bottom is the shareable URL. It's the more common method. You can just copy that URL, paste it in an email, text message, social media timeline, however you want to get that into the hands of your customers. And the last thing I want to touch on is related to our new landing pages feature. Any landing pages you create in Nutshell, with just a single click, you can link these Nutshell forms to your new landing pages. Again, get in touch with Nutshell support if you need a hand with that. That about wraps up the video for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy nutshelling.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, James. That was really helpful. Let's get this presentation back up. Okay, good. And I'm glad you talked about landing pages. I was going to mention that too. So that's it's an important feature in the way that Nutshell forms and landing pages work together. Um, so you can create those landing pages and put forms right on there, and it makes it super easy to manage those form submissions. Okay, so a little bit more about how to use Nutshell Forms and how to get that set up for your company. All Nutshell tiers come with a set usage of Nutshell Forms, and it depends on the plan that you have. But again, when you're logged into your Nutshell account, you can just go to Marketing, then Nutshell Forms, and click on Create Form. And there's again no limits on how many times those forms can be filled out, so you can continue to collect those submissions and then edit your form if you need to change how it looks at any time. Easily embed it on your website or share as a link, so that way you can keep all of your forms updated across your entire website. And so next, I just want to cover really quickly what we've got planned for Nutshell Forms and what's coming up in the future. Later this year, we're adding CAPTCHA to our forms. We understand that spam can be a problem when you've got forms on your website, and we're wanting to help customers prevent that and prevent those submissions that aren't really helpful. So we're going to be adding that features to help with spam prevention. And then we're also going to be adding the ability to export submission data. It includes a little bit more information than our current exportability. We can get into that later if there's a question about it, but it's the ability to export more information from those forms, like in those text fields where people are typing out more information. So you can see all of those form submissions and share them with your teammates easily in a CSV file, spreadsheet, however you want to export that. Okay, so we're now at our Q&A session. I see we just got another question from Jessica here at the end. Is it possible to easily send a form to all our contacts in Nutshell? A little bit more about that, James, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. There are two primary ways that you can share your form in Nutshell. The embed link, or I'm sorry, the embed code, which is just a little block of code that you would, copy and then paste into the code on your site. And the more common method that customers are interested in is the shareable URL. And so that's just a link to where that form is hosted in your Nutshell account. And that can be pasted into an email, sent in a text message, posted on a social media timeline, included in a bulk email that you send through Nutshell. There's really no limitations on how you can share that URL. So those are the two primary methods, would be embedding on the web somewhere, either on your site or an affiliate site, or sharing the link that we provide you with.
Thank you. And then from Anne, simple questions with checkbox or radio buttons. I don't think it has that now. Is that correct? There are checkbox fields, correct, James?
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
really depends, and you can custom fields to a form. And so if the custom field you created is a decision type field that has multiple options, then yeah, absolutely that can be included on your form. It really just depends on the type of field that you're adding.
Mhm.
And yes, Christopher, this is being recorded.
Yeah, it might take a few minutes after this demo ends just for the video to configure, but everyone who registered or attended should be able to get a recording of this after it's over. And then Anne asked again about radio buttons. I'm not entirely sure what that.
Yeah. Sorry if I didn't state that clearly a moment ago, Anne. Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any more questions, anybody? This is a little bit early, so we have some time here if anyone has anything. If the fields added in Nutshell forms don't match any fields in Nutshell, how does that data get captured? Tom asks.
So I'm not exactly clear on the question, Tom. When you create a form in Nutshell, you're selecting while building the form where you want the data entered in that field to live, right? So when something is added into that field, when a customer is filling out the form, that's always where that data is going to go in Nutshell. So if, for instance, you're creating the form and you say when somebody enters a value in this name field, it's always going to be mapped to person name, right? So even if the customer filling that form out puts something else in that field, that data is still going to get mapped to person name in Nutshell when they submit the form.
So it's more a matter of verifying that the information the person filling out the form is putting in is where you want it to go. There's not going to be a time when it doesn't populate somewhere.
Right. Yeah, if there's a field on your Nutshell form, that means it is being mapped to somewhere in Nutshell, and we
Mhm.
would just need to look at how you have the form configured to know specifically where that was.
Right. Kelly asked, can the form have a signature field? I assume that means a signature, like someone's name.
Yeah, that's not a specific field that we offer, but you
Mhm.
could accomplish that easily with a text field and just, or even an image block if you had like a JPEG of your signature that you wanted to include, and then just do an image block, at the bottom.
Okay. And then Anne asked, is it possible for the form data to be downloaded as a spreadsheet, or does it live in people records?
Currently, it just lives on the people records. We're building new tools to have a little bit more flexibility with exporting that data. But at this time, whenever somebody fills out the form, if you were to go to that person page in Nutshell, on the right-hand sidebar, you'll see a reference to any forms that they've completed. And when clicking on each of those, it'll show you their form responses. It's also included in the when you do a full export of all of your Nutshell data, it's included there as well. Not going to lie, it's not formatted in the most useful way currently, but again, that's something that we're definitely putting resources towards building out further.
Okay. All right. If no one has any further questions, oh, there is one more. Jessica asks, when Nutshell updates information based on a form, have you seen whether this generally increases or decreases duplicates? We'd like to use forms to update client contacts and eliminate that data.
I'm just rereading the question here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So Jessica, are you asking like if somebody already exists in your Nutshell account, they fill out a form, and you're wondering what protections we have in place to avoid duplicate records being created? Am I in the right direction there? Yeah. So right now it's based off of exact email address match. And again, that's another piece that we're, putting some engineering resources towards improving right now. But yeah, currently should prevent duplicates if there's an exact email address match.
Okay. Really great questions, everyone. I appreciate this discussion. Oh, can forms feed into a pipeline? Jamal asks.
Well, there isn't a specific automation in a sales pipeline related to forms, but I'm imagining scenarios where you would have an automated email or an automated drip sequence configured in your pipeline, and in that marketing email or that email template, you had a link to a form. So I guess, yeah, adjacent to that, but not specific automation just for forms in the pipeline.
And Celia's question sounds similar. Is it possible to set up an automation with a form so when it's submitted, automated emails are sent? I think that's when someone is
Yeah,
added to an audience, um, then they'll automatically start receiving those um, sequences that you've already set up for that audience.
yeah, exactly. There are a few ways of accomplishing that, Celia. You can, for instance, configure an after submission action to add a tag to this new person record that's created. And then in your pipeline, or rather in your drip sequence, for example, you could have that start when a particular tag is added to a person, right? So there's an additional step in between, but yeah, you can set it up such that a form submission results in an automated email. Added steps between though.
Okay, great. Looks like we're running out of questions, but people are always adding more here. So, yeah, thank you again, everyone, for joining us on our Nutshell Forms webinar today. Thank you, James, for joining and for answering these questions. Hopefully, this is helpful for you all. And again, after this demo is ended, you'll receive a recording in your email inbox. You'll be able to share it with your teammates or go back and rewatch. And again, our support team is available to help answer any questions and get you set up with that if you need help as well. So thank you very much for your time today and happy nutshelling.
Hey, Tom, if you're still there, I just noticed your question about collecting form data on a building, not a person. Go ahead and send an email to the support team. I want to follow up with you on that if you had other questions.
Great. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, guys. Have a great one.